Hey, Theo here. Let's blow our minds with this key component to our life purpose. This is day 28 of the Adventure of Appreciation calendar. Welcome to this filtered video. I don't usually use filters, but look at that beautiful blue hue. I have a candle right here beside you. Welcome. This is for you before I meditate on it afterwards. So here's your question for today. What would you be willing to fail at doing? Now, we're expanding upon the last video very gradually. The last video talked about this space of stillness, of quietude, of non-thought, that meditative alpha state or even theta state of the brain, where we have space to create, really. We become the observer, and now we are no longer trapped in the games of life. We are actually entering a field of potential where we have much more ease and flow when it comes to directing our thought energy, which manifests in feelings, which manifests in inspiration, and that inspiration manifests in action. So it's really important to begin where it all starts with it, which is your viewpoint into this incarnation, into this body. Now, how is today's video related to that? Well, isn't it, there is a beautiful saying, that is that there are two important dates in your life, two main dates, and that is the date you were born and the day you know why you were born. And many of us have been searching endlessly and a lot to figure out what is our purpose. So before we dive deeper on this, because now as we're beginning to calm the mind, we have space to answer perhaps one of the most foundational, fundamental questions for a happy, passionate, fulfilled life, which has to do with why we are here, why you're here. So let's take an example. Should we... That's a loaded question. There are two states of being to begin at. It's being general and being specific. And when we begin something, what should we do? Should we start by focusing directly at the specifics, or should we go more general? For example, if you want to become a world-class mathematician and you're starting at 3 years old, what would be the most helpful thing to learn? Would it be helpful if I, as a stepping stone teacher, mathematician on the way, telling you, hey, solve this equation? Or if I even go specific and say, what is 10 minus 3? Now here's the point. If you do not know anything about mathematics, it will have no sense at all to be that specific, which means we should be as general as we are right now. So we must begin just learning the numbers in the beginning of mastering mathematics. We have to learn the numbers, 0 through 9, and above. And the same goes with what our purpose is. Which is why this question, that is an amazing door opener. This question, if you begin answering this, you will reveal such profound insight into who you are that you will have one of the most important leading threads on your path in life. And the question again, in another way, is what are you willing to fail at? What is something in life, and it can be as general or specific or emotional as you want, what is something you're willing to fail at? Or let's be general here. What is a topic that you would keep doing regardless? It's something that falls naturally to you. You do it anyway. It is something that is so important to you as a being that you won't deviate from it. You will do your best anyway through life, which means you're willing to fail at something until you reach the desired success. What we're looking for is the answer where you say, you know what, this thing, this type of activity, or this type of being, this hobby, whatever it is, this topic, I am willing to not only fail trying to do this, I am willing to fail 1 trillion billion times. You know, I'm willing to fail perhaps not infinite amounts of times, because that is not really a real number, but I am willing to fail as many times as it takes, because this is worth it for me. If you have no connection to what that feeling is, this may seem like a big task, but let's take some examples. Let me just be honest and tell you what one of my main general purposes are. I notice that I really love feeling that I understand someone. You know, I really love understanding people, and I really love being able to come from a perception that includes you, that can say I love you, or at least I can understand you. You know, I don't only want to tolerate you, I don't only want to accept you, I want to actually look at you and say, what? Wow, you are someone, and I appreciate you. You know, that is something that I, from the depth of my soul, ideally, not only ideally, this is something I choose every day to do. Which means when I meet someone, if that person is in my life and they reoccur, every time they reappear in my life, I will always want to love them more. So I don't care how many times it takes to look at them, to make a first impression of them 1,000 times before I found a way to appreciate them. I don't care how many times it takes. It is in I think it is in our nature, but it's definitely in my nature. You may discover something similar in yourself. But I know that when I meet someone, I really, really, really want to have many bridges between us. I want to feel the common ground. I want to honor at least one aspect of them, so I can cheer them on their way and applaud them for their achievements on that path. I think this is the basic lesson of being a father figure, or being just a brother, a friend, you know, or even a son. So this is a type of behavior that flavors my entire life. And I have other goals as well. I want people to learn certain things. I'd like to be contributing value and help people overcome things. But when we boil it down, this is one of my main purposes. And I mentioned this as an example. And I think if I was watching this, it would inspire me. Because in the beginning, when we're talking back in 2008 up till 2013, 14, 15, I was gathering inspiration from others more than I was generating it myself. Actually, this lasted for a long time. And it feels like it's only recently that I'm beginning to be very self-sufficient and overflowing with inspiration and joy of being. It's like I need no resource anymore. But hey, I would love this to be something that is a fact for everyone, and I think it can be. I think that people can sense that energy and adopt it and become it and be it. I think it's really that easy. But at the same time, to be realistic, when we're in the mind, we try to analyze everything and make systems out of it, and that takes a lot of time. And people have committed routes of the mind that they feel that they want to complete, and it will give them certain harvests that are valuable to them and the people they will in the future help. So the seed is growing even if we are not seeing the plant on the surface, you know. There are many roots being developed before the plant appears and breaks through into the light. And that is how that journey is. So this is why we have to be logical. You know, if you are not self-sufficient on things, on anything really, but in my case on inspiration, on dedication, you know, whatever it may be, whatever value you perceive in me, if you are lacking that, you're not already producing it in abundance, then use the energy that is put through these videos, through my text, through whatever, through other people's texts and videos and audios and whatever, and courses. Because this is how I got where I am on this topic. I'm still a student on many topics, but on this topic, when it comes to self-sufficient inspiration and getting deeply connected with a deeper purpose, a higher purpose, a realer purpose, an inner purpose, that is something I am beginning to master. And you may also do that. If you're not, use me as an example, that's the point. And feast on the energy. Information is something, information is a pie that you can't overshare. It duplicates every time you share it. It's not like if I have inspiration and then you begin to enjoy inspiration by observing me, it is diminishing on my part and amplifying on your part. That's not how it works. This is an information age, and emotional energy, and energy is information. So we are both gaining benefit from pointing towards the benefit, the values and abilities in each other. You can't take anything from me, and you already have it. That's the funny thing. Yeah, that's a thought to ponder later today. This is a night video, obviously, but later tonight, perhaps, for you. Yeah, so what are you willing to fail at? I brought some cards. These are small cards. They're called Keepers of Light. And the only reason I have them right now is because I'm going to imagine that some of you have different things you would like to fail at eternally, you know? Let's look at some of those topics. Let's say that you are... Yeah, your main purpose may feel like it's focused attention. Maybe you're not like a lovey hippie like me. Maybe you're like, you know, I need focus. Actually, I know a friend who is focusing immensely on that topic of being focused intention, to think about what you desire and set your sight high and expect the best possible outcome. So let's say that you're like, you know what, I want to increase my ability to focus on the right things. And I am willing to master this so much that I will fail as many times as it takes before I master it, because it's that important to me. It represents something that is vital to me. Well, if that is it, now you have just revealed a major general theme about your purpose. Focus is one of the key pieces for you, if you resonate with that. If you continue doing this exercise of figuring out the things that you're willing to fail at a trillion billion times before mastering and succeeding, then you will have a beautiful design. If you write them down in a sacred geometric grid, or just, you know, a list of points, that this is something that matters for me and that is something that matters for me. I would actually do this regardless and fail forever until I master it, even if it takes one day or one eon. Now you're beginning to map the grid of your life purpose. And this is much easier to do if you first go through that space of stillness, of meditation, of relaxing every thought, beginning to observe yourself and be like, oh wow, there's a lot going on in here. And you begin to just observe and witness what's happening in your mind, in your body, in your heart, in your stomach, in your auric field, around you and inside of you. When you begin to practice some way of quieting the mind and finding stillness, these exercises becomes very pleasant and easy to do. And you won't even want to have paper initially. You want to bathe in the question. Because in the stillness, in the darkness, in the field of potential where you are not judging or doing anything, when you ask a question in that field, there is a trillion billion opportunistic thoughts bubbling up from this factory that is the creative force we are. And they will come in the tempo that matches the level of stillness that you're at. I hope this makes sense. Yeah. Now let's take a topic, because you will go through topics. This exercise, by the way, is it's something worth to fail at a few times before you master it. And here is what failing looks like. Failing in this case would be, well, let's look at the topic of a relationship, of a love relationship. Oh, let's see, am I willing to fail endlessly before I hit the right thing, you know? Wow, that sounds dirty, but you know, am I willing to do, you know, and maybe what I'm thinking, what that represents for me is, am I willing to have like 100 girlfriends before I find the one? For some people, they may be like, yeah. But for me personally, on my personal level, I'm like, no, I'm not willing to fail at that at all. I have a little measurement of failing. I'm always willing to fail, but I'm not willing to fail several times on this. There is a limit to how many girlfriends I want to have through my life. Ideally, less is more for me at this point. And the reason is that I'd rather fail at connecting with a person and finding the connection I truly want in the relationship I am creating, I seek, and that we may create when I'm talking to that character called the love of my life. So I would not jump into a relationship. I'm not willing to fail at a relationship, but I am willing to fail at connecting with the people who resonate, with those who display certain traits, who have a type of energy that is very conducive to me, and where I feel that this is a person I can love and appreciate forever. Even just putting a thought at this person instantly triggers a wave of love, you know? These are the things I'm looking for first, and therefore these are the things I'm willing to fail at. I'm willing to meet people and be like, oh, okay, I thought it was the one, but it's not. Perfectly fine. I'm willing to fail at that. I'm willing to fall deeply, deeply, deeply into love without becoming a boyfriend with that girl, and realize they may not be interested in me, or maybe they reveal some side of them where I'm like, wow, that's really not what I want, you know? So I'm willing to do that, and the earlier, the better. So this is just me. This is just what, when we discover something that we're not willing to fail at, that is gold, you know? That leads you, that points to what you actually want to do. Because you can just reflect on it for a bit, feel about it, and sense where you resonate. And resonate is a very important word. I recommend you look it up. But what we're talking about when I say find, you know, think about a topic and feel what you resonate with. It's a word that describes that feeling mechanism we have, this emotional guidance system that tells us what is in alignment with our path forward and what perhaps is not in alignment, you see? So when we find something that is not in alignment, we're like, okay, why isn't this in alignment? Oh, there is something over here that is in alignment. Okay, let's see, what is this about? And it's a felt journey. And that is the journey of discovering our purpose. It is very much a felt journey that you sense through. It's not the type of emotion that is produced by the brain and producing hormones and chemicals that move you and make you feel certain things. I'm talking about a sensing, an intuitive feeling. It's almost as if you have a magnetic heart chakra, an energy center, a soul that can sense what resonates and what doesn't. When it resonates, it's as if it's a yes, I like this. Oh my God, I love this. When it's a non-resonance, there's everything on the way to that yes, clear, I know. You see? Okay, I don't want to make this video any longer. I hope you have a great day, as always. And I'm freaking hot. I don't usually wear this beautiful, amazing garment. It's too warm. I just didn't want to look. It's late at night. Whatever. Hello. I can love myself now, can I? Oh no, you see my vulnerable side. Well, isn't that okay once in a while? I'm willing to be seen a trillion billion times because I will always improve. Yeah, that's one last example. Good night.